Yeah, man, we got into the business when we were like, I say 10 and 11 years old. It was like a really gradual process, without throwing your clothes on backwards or whatever. JD, I think he had like, one day he had just came through Kris' house or whatever with his pants on backwards and just telling us, check this out, check this style out. And
what's happening, Puff? I'll be back to you if JD ain't had enough. Yeah. Jermaine Dupri, king of the if you ask me, baby.
The duo started the trend of wearing pants backwards, and their music video played a big role in making many people do the same in the 90s. It was not just about fashion. It was something that caught everyone's attention and became very popular. Many people loved the style and started following it.
Turn around now.
I mean, like, around the neighborhood, we would dance and sing a little bit, but I mean, we really got into it a lot when we met Jermaine Dupri, our producer.
Okay. The music industry is not an easy place, especially for young kids. Many stories have come out about how young artists face difficult times, but some stories are more shocking than others. In 1993, there were claims that Jada Pinkett not only sold weed to Chris Kelly, but also had a relationship with him. At that time, Kelly was only 15 years old, while Jada was 22. People talk about her past relationships, but this situation is very different. Now, Kelly's father, Mac Smith, is finally speaking about what really happened to his son, and what he is saying is very shocking. For years, people have been saying that Chris Kelly and Chris Smith, known as Kris Kross, were controlled, used, and later left behind by the people who were supposed to guide them. Names like Jermaine Dupri, Diddy, and Jada Pinkett Smith have been mentioned in these stories. At first, it all sounded like rumors, but now it looks like it could be the truth. Chris and Chris were only 11 and 12 years old when they were found in a mall in Atlanta. Very quickly, they became famous with their baggy clothes, hit songs, and platinum records. Their song Jump became popular all over the world. But behind the fame, there was a dark side to their story that many people did not see. In 2013, Chris Kelly, also called Mac Daddy, passed away. The report said he died because of an overdose, but fans believe there was more to the story. Even if he did overdose, they think something must have caused him to reach that point. Many believe that he was carrying deep pain from his early years in the music industry. Jermaine Dupri has always denied doing anything wrong. But now, new stories are coming out that tell a different story. And then, there is Jada Pinkett Smith. The rumors about her and young Chris Kelly have shocked many people. What was really happening behind the scenes? Was Mac Daddy's tragic death caused by something much deeper? Something that started when he was just a child in an industry that was too dangerous for kids? The person who acted like a father to the boys was in his early 20s himself, so it was only a matter of time before they saw and experienced things they should not have. I can tell you who Chris Kelly smoked his first joint with. I can tell you who gave him his first drink. I can even tell you who was there when he had his first experience with someone. Someone pushed him into that. These days, Chris Smith, also known as Daddy Mac, does not talk much about Kris Kross or his late friend Chris Kelly, also called Mac Daddy. It is easy to understand why. The two met in first grade and were like brothers long before fame changed their lives. Losing Mac Daddy was heartbreaking, and Daddy Mac has mostly kept his feelings to himself. But in a rare interview, he finally spoke about it. When asked how he deals with the loss, he said music helps him heal, but at the same time, he cannot stop thinking about everything they went through as kids in the music industry. He said that when they first started in the business, they had to grow up very fast, performing and working at a young age. He did not share too many details, but his words made people remember the old rumors about what really happened to Kris Kross. Now, fans are looking at their story again and wondering if these two young stars were used and taken advantage of by powerful people in the industry. Chris Kelly and Chris Smith were only 11 years old when producer Jermaine Dupri found them in 1990. Just 1 year later, they were on top of the world. Their song Jump was playing everywhere, on the radio, on television, and in clubs. They had fame, money, and success, but behind all of that, there was another story. A story that still makes fans question what really happened to them. Their music video was everywhere, and their song stayed at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 for 8 weeks in a row. It even sold over 2 million copies and became double platinum. But their success did not stop there. Kris Kross released 3 studio albums, and all of them were produced by Jermaine Dupri. Each album was a big success. Their first album, Totally. Crossed Out, sold millions of copies and was certified multi-platinum. Their second album went platinum, and their third album earned a gold certification. And here is something even more amazing. Michael Jackson personally invited them to perform as an opening act on his Dangerous tour. That was a huge moment in their career. There is no doubt that Jermaine Dupri had a special talent for finding young artists and turning them into stars. With his guidance, Kris Kross did not just become one of the biggest music acts of the early 90s, they also became the youngest stars to take over the music industry at that time.
And the winner is my posse, Kris Kross.
Hey yo, first of all, we want to thank God for making all this happen. Next, we want to thank our fans, because we wouldn't be here today. We're selling 5 million records too.
But there is a very sad side to this story. When Chris Kelly passed away in 2013 from a suspected overdose, some troubling rumors started spreading. People began to wonder if Kris Kross had been taken advantage of when they were young and famous. Many believed that Mac Daddy struggled with substance use because he was trying to deal with painful experiences from his childhood in the music industry. The cause of his death was not confirmed right away. Chris Kelly was only 34 years old when he was found unresponsive at his home. He was rushed to the hospital, but sadly, he passed away 2 days later. His family later told the police that he had struggled with substance use for many years. Losing such a talented artist at a young age was heartbreaking for fans and for the music world. Chris Kelly and Chris Smith became famous in 1992 with their hit song Jump, which stayed at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 for 8 weeks. They were known for wearing their clothes backward on stage. They even toured with Michael Jackson and had their own video game. The duo was only 13 years old when producer Jermaine Dupri discovered them in 1991 at a mall in Atlanta. But what really happened to Chris "Mac Daddy" Kelly? Was there ever any real proof that powerful people in the industry hurt him in some way? At Mac Daddy's funeral, Daddy Mac gave a very emotional speech. He remembered Chris as a kind and loyal friend who always cared for the people around him. Through tears, he shared that losing Chris had been very hard for him every single day. But on the morning of the funeral, he said he felt a peaceful feeling inside because he believed Chris was now in heaven. Chris's father, and Donna, I just want to say that you have always been like family to me. You have always been like a mother to me, and I truly appreciate you. I know I can never take Chris's place, but I will always be here for you. There are so many memories I could share, but instead of talking about all the years we spent together, I just want to remember one special moment from the last time we were on stage. Right before we were about to perform, I was standing on the right side of the stage and Chris was on the left. It was just a few seconds before the curtain was about to rise, but suddenly Chris ran over to my side. He looked at me and said, "Stay focused." I was surprised and asked him what he was doing because we were supposed to go on stage right, on time. But Chris was always calm. He never got nervous or anxious. He just smiled, slowly walked back to his side, and got ready to perform. That was who Chris was. He always cared about the people around him. He was a true friend who wanted to make sure I was all right. Chris, I love you, and I will miss you every single day. I could say Kris Kross forever, but I know that without you, my life will never be the same. The only thing I hope for now is that people will never forget what we did for hip-hop. I will do everything I can to make sure your memory stays alive. After Chris Kelly passed away, many people started looking at Jermaine Dupri's response. Some fans found it strange, and it did not take long before people started making their own guesses about what really happened. Just one day after Chris was gone, rumors started spreading, and some of them were truly heartbreaking. Many people began to wonder if there was something more to the story. When Chris Kelly passed away, Jermaine Dupri shared a very emotional message with fans. He said that Chris was like the son he never had. In his message, he wrote, "To the world, Chris. Kelly was Mac Daddy, but to me, he was the son I never had. When I think about it, I spent more time with Chris and Chris than almost anyone in my life. So you can imagine how much this hurts. I will always love you, Chris, and I will never let the world forget you. May God bless your soul." But when Jermaine later gave an interview with Vlad TV in 2018, fans noticed that something felt strange about how he talked about Kris's passing. When Vlad asked how old Kris was when he passed away, Jermaine looked unsure and could not give an exact answer. This surprised many people because Kris was such a big part of his life and career. During the interview, the conversation went like this. Vlad, one of the members passed away, not right after, but years later, right? Jermaine, yeah. Vlad, he passed at a relatively young age. Was it 30-something? Jermaine, yeah, I think so. That was not the only moment that made fans feel something was off. When Vlad asked if Jermaine had stayed in touch with Kris over the years, Jermaine suddenly looked uncomfortable. He started fidgeting, and his body language changed. This made people wonder if there was more to the story. Vlad, did you see that coming at all? Were you guys still in contact? Jermaine, no, I did not see that coming. We had just done the 20th anniversary, so we had just started having more conversations about them going on tour and doing other things. His hesitation and the way he acted during the interview made fans question if there was something deeper behind Kris's struggles. Many people started wondering if Jermaine knew more than he was willing to say. When the 20th anniversary of Jump was mentioned, Jermaine Dupri agreed that Kris Kelly's passing was truly a tragedy. But fans could not ignore how strange his reactions were during the interview. His nervousness, his hesitation, and the fact that he did not even seem sure about Kris's exact age when he passed. These things did not sit right with people. It led to a flood of questions. What was really happening behind the scenes? Why did Jermaine seem so uncomfortable talking about Kris? To be clear, nothing about Jermaine's reaction proves that he did anything wrong. But that did not stop the rumors. Many people felt like there was more to the story than what was being told. And when fans started looking deeper into Kris Kross's history, what they found was disturbing. It seemed like Kris and Kris had been exposed to some really troubling things in the industry, and many questioned if Jermaine did enough to protect them. After Kris Kelly's tragic passing, old interviews from the early 1990s started resurfacing. Fans noticed something heartbreaking. When Kris Kross first became famous, Kris Kelly was full of life. He was always smiling, laughing, and full of confidence. But as the years went by, something changed. He started looking different in interviews. Quieter, sadder, as if he was carrying a heavy burden. The difference was impossible to ignore. Fans could not help but wonder, what had happened to him? What kind of experiences had left him looking so drained and broken? Kris Kelly once shared how fame changed his life at school. Some classmates became jealous, while others admired him and wanted to follow in his footsteps. Some even asked him for help in starting their own music groups. But behind all the success, there was a deeper and darker story. For years after Kris Kelly's heartbreaking passing, rumors continued to spread about Jermaine Dupri. Some people believed he had done something wrong to Kris Kross, while others thought he simply stood by while the industry took advantage of them. But after staying silent for a long time, Jermaine finally decided to respond. A fan left a shocking comment on one of Jermaine's Instagram posts. They claimed that Kris Kross had won a lawsuit against him years ago, but the public never found out about it. Jermaine did not hold back. He angrily replied, "You must be out of your mind. I should sue you for writing this disrespectful nonsense on my page. Get out of here." But here's the strange part. Jermaine never actually sued anyone for making these claims. He never took any legal action to clear his name. And as time passed, the rumors started to fade. That is, until Cat Williams brought them back. Cat Williams did not just suggest something, he said it directly. In 2011, a video surfaced where he was freestyling and calling out several big names in the industry, including Diddy, Steve Harvey, and Jermaine Dupri. And when he mentioned Jermaine, he made a shocking accusation, calling him the king of something very disturbing. At the time, most people ignored it. Some thought Cat was joking, while others believed he was just speaking without thinking. But for those who had already been suspicious of Jermaine, this only made them wonder, was there any truth to what Cat Williams was saying? The media spent years trying to make Cat Williams look unstable, which made it easy for people to ignore what he was saying about the music industry. But now, as more and more big names are being exposed for shocking behavior, fans are starting to see Cat's words in a whole new way. There is no doubt that what Cat said about Jermaine Dupri was one of the worst accusations anyone could make. It was not just gossip, it was something very serious, Normally, if someone is falsely accused of something so terrible, they quickly take legal action to clear their name. But here's the strange part. Jermaine never said anything about cats. Words. This is the same Jermaine Dupri who got angry and threatened to sue a random fan on Instagram just for suggesting he had done something wrong to Kris Kross. But when Cat Williams publicly accused him of something much worse, he stayed completely silent. Now, with the rumors about Jermaine and Kris Kross coming back again, fans are starting to connect the dots to other disturbing stories in the music industry. One of the biggest stories involves Usher and his time at Puffy's Flavor Camp. Usher was once called the next Michael Jackson, but before he became famous, he had to spend a year with a man he barely knew. Puffy, who now calls himself Love, sent Usher to Flavor Camp when he was just a child. In an old interview, Usher was asked if spending time at Flavor Camp took away his childhood. He did not give a clear answer, but the way he hesitated made people question what really happened there. There are some things about Flavor Camp that Usher has never talked about in detail. Now, as more dark secrets about the music industry come to light, people are wondering, was there something much worse happening behind the scenes? Usher did not just make it through Flavor Camp, he came out stronger and more successful. But now, people are looking back and asking what really happened behind the scenes. At the same time, fans have noticed something strange about how Jermaine Dupri reacted to Diddy's legal troubles. When Cassie first filed a lawsuit against Diddy, Jermaine stayed completely silent. But in March, when Homeland Security raided Diddy's homes, Jermaine suddenly spoke up, and instead of staying neutral, he actually defended Diddy. Let us go back to May 2023. Jermaine was excited to announce that he and Diddy had finally set a date for their Verzuz battle. The event was supposed to happen in September 2023, and fans were really looking forward to it. But then, out of nowhere, Diddy canceled the whole thing. Now, looking back, it seems like Diddy might have known trouble was coming. Just 2 months later, in November, Cassie hit him with a big lawsuit. At first, Jermaine did not say anything about the situation. But when Diddy's homes were raided in March, reporters started asking Jermaine for his thoughts. And that is when he changed his approach. Instead of talking about the accusations, he got defensive and tried to change the subject by bringing up Donald Trump, almost as if he was suggesting that Diddy was being treated unfairly. This reaction did not sit well with many fans. Why was Jermaine so quick to defend Diddy? And why did he ignore the real accusations? These questions only made the rumors about both Diddy and Jermaine grow even bigger, making people wonder if there was more to the story.
Everything happening to Diddy. Were you surprised when you heard about the raid?
Yeah, I was surprised about the raid, but I mean, I think that it's a foolish act that nothing happened, so it's like, why? I don't even understand all the commotion. You know?
Yeah, I mean, he's been sued a lot, but we don't know exactly what's going on.
Donald Trump gets sued every day, you know what I mean? So I just don't know, I don't know why they're making it so serious, like, it seems like, you know, like I say, celebrities and people of power and money, they get sued all the time. It's not something that is like, it's not the first time that this has ever happened.
Some people are saying if the federal government is doing the raid, they must have something on him. You think you did it? You think you did anything illegal?
I don't buy it. I don't think so.
But wait, Jermaine Dupri and Diddy are not the only ones in the music industry who have been accused of taking advantage of Kris Kross. There are also shocking rumors about Jada Pinkett Smith. Many insiders claim that Jada may have taken advantage of Chris Kelly when he was very young. Now, we all know that Jada is always quick to respond whenever someone says something about her. But this time, when these serious accusations came out, she said nothing at all. People have been talking about Jada and Chris Kelly for a long time, but the topic became big again because of rapper Daz Dillinger. Daz worked closely with Tupac and helped produce his famous album All Eyes on Me. In a recent interview, Daz made a shocking claim. He said that Jada had an entanglement with Chris Kelly back in 1993. If this is true, it means Chris was only 14 or 15 years old at the time. While Jada was around 21 or 22, Daz shared a story about hanging out with Kris Kross. He said that Chris Kelly stepped outside for a moment and then came back, casually saying that Jada was at the door. According to Daz, Chris did not say much, but the situation made it seem like something was going on between them. This made people remember past stories about Jada and Will Smith. Singer Jaguar Wright once claimed that young men had run out of their house screaming after experiencing something disturbing. She suggested that Jada and Will had a history of doing strange things under the name of mentorship. Now that all these disturbing stories about Kris Kross are coming back, especially after Jermaine defended Diddy, fans are putting the pieces together. Could there be some truth to what Cat Williams said about Jermaine? And was Chris Kelly's tragic death really caused by the things he went through as a young star in an industry full of powerful people taking advantage of him? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments and do not miss the next video.